Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So if I'm being totally honest, I've not been feeling too great these past couple of days. The anxiety has hit, the low mood has hit. Nothing too terrible, I've just been struggling a little bit. I guess we're all having these moments where the events of 2020 are just catching up with us. Today I am feeling a little bit better and I thought, let's just put on some makeup, let's set up the camera and let's just talk about books. And I thought, what better to film than a tag video? So that is what we are doing today. I really enjoyed filming the reread book tag that I did quite recently. I will leave it linked around so that you can go and check it out if you would like. That tag was all about rereading, of course, and the tag we're doing today is all about DNFing. If you are new to BookTube or you simply don't know what DNFing means, it means do not finish. So DNFing a book means putting a book down without finishing it. I'm super interested in DNFing as a thing. I really like to hear about whether people DNF or not and how often they DNF books and just how they feel about it generally. So I thought you guys may be interested in my thoughts on DNFing as well. This tag was created by Gunpowder Fiction and Plot, by the way, so I will leave the original video linked down below and let's get into the questions. Question number one is, do you DNF? So I do DNF. I don't have anything against DNFing whatsoever. I feel like if you aren't enjoying a book or getting much from it, if it just isn't doing it for you at that time, then put it down. As my wise grandmother once said, life is too short to be reading books you don't enjoy. And that is so true. I feel like there are so many books out there that I am sure to love, so I may as well be spending my time discovering those than wasting my time on books I'm not really liking. That all being said, I don't actually DNF books all that often. I think there are a couple of reasons that this is the case. The first one being that I'm a pretty fast reader. So if I'm reading a book and it's not really doing it for me, but I'm interested to see whether it picks itself up at the end, it doesn't typically take me too long to just finish the book and see what I think. So often that's what I do. Also, I am a book reviewer, and while that shouldn't ideally really affect what I read, I do want to finish books a lot of the time so that I can give you guys my full opinions on them. And lastly, I just genuinely think I'm pretty good at picking books for myself, so DNFing isn't really a thing that comes up. There is so much great information out there about books. There are so many book reviewers who I really trust, and I've read tons of books in my time, so I know my tastes very well. This means that I'm basically just picking up books that I'm pretty sure I'm going to love, and more often than not, I do. So yes, while I'm not against DNFing at all, I just don't really do it that much in practice. Question two is, if you do DNF a book, does it count towards your books read for that month? No, it doesn't. I only mark books read on Goodreads if I have read them to the end. I can see why people would mark a book as read if they DNF'd the book, depending on how far they got through, because you probably did spend a significant amount of time with that book and you've probably read enough to form your opinion on it. So I guess you kind of want your opinion represented if you really didn't like a book for whatever reason. But I just feel weird personally about marking a book as read if I haven't read it to the end and seen everything that it has to offer. That just doesn't sit well with me. Question three is there a difference between DNFing and just putting a book down for a bit? Yes, I think there definitely is. Sometimes you put a book down and you never want to read it again. It didn't work for you, you were done with it. But sometimes you have to put a book down because you just picked it up at the wrong time, or other things come up that need your attention and you totally intend on going back to that book at another point. Also with non-fiction in particular, I think you can definitely put a book down for a bit without DNFing them. I tend to read non-fiction slower than I read fiction, and I tend to read it more episodically in chunks. I find that non-fiction tends to lend itself to this kind of style of reading quite often, so I will definitely read sections of a non-fiction book before putting it down for a bit and then picking it up at some later date. Question 4 is, what popular book did you DNF? So that would be Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. Yeah. Honestly, I don't really know what is going on with this book and myself. It should be a book I would love. It has my name written all over it. And everyone adores this book. Everyone I know and trust, but I just couldn't get into it. While the premise here is interesting and the writing is good, I just couldn't get past the first chapter of this book. It didn't bring me in at all. It's one of life's many mysteries and I just have to accept it. As for other books I've DNF'd, I don't really remember too many, to be honest. One was Ian McEwan's latest novel, Machines Like Me, actually. That book was so dry and up its own arse, I just couldn't carry on. Question 5 is, what book do you wish you had DNF'd? So this is an interesting question because while there are many books that I really didn't enjoy, some that I actually hated, I still don't wish I had DNF'd them. FYI, books that fall into that category would include Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad, The Water Cure by Sophie McIntosh, Our Endless Numbered Days by Claire Fuller, The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. Yes, you heard me. But as I said earlier, if I'd DNF'd these books, I wouldn't have been able to fully review them for you guys. And I know that a lot of you really like to hear about books that I didn't enjoy and why I didn't enjoy them, so no regrets. Question number 6 is, do you ever reattempt to read a DNF? Has this ever been successful for you? So I don't often reattempt books that I have DNF'd. No. Usually if I've put a book down, then that's it for that book. They had their shot and they blew it. I just have so many books I want to read and I'm never going to get to read all of the books I want to. So if I've given you the time of day and you've let me down, then you're not getting another chance. Interestingly, the only book that I remember reattempting is Girl, Woman, Other. I believe I've picked that book up like 3 times now. I kept trying it because people just did not cease talking about that book. It kept coming up and everyone just said they were blown away by it. But every time I tried, I just couldn't get into it, and now it's built up to this huge thing in my head. I doubt I will ever read that book, to be honest. I have let myself off the Girl, Woman, Other hook. Question 7 is, what do you do with books you have DNF'd? So if it's a book that I have DNF'd and I don't plan on ever giving it another go, and it's a book that Cameron isn't interested in reading, then I just get rid of it. I don't need those books hanging around and staring at me from my shelves. When we do get rid of books, we typically ask our family and friends if they would like them first. I also offer them to a few homeless people who I know love to read, who are near my home in Leicester. And then if nobody wants the books, we will typically just donate them to a charity shop. And the final question, question 8, is, do you pick more or less risky titles because of your stance on DNF? So no, I I don't think so. As I said, I am very open to DNFing books, so I don't feel too much pressure to finish one if I've picked it up. And reading risky titles is fun, like if it's a book from a new genre or a new author that I've never read before, I'm just excited to give it a go. If it doesn't work out for me, who cares? So there we go. Those were all of the questions in this tag. It was fun to film. I do think it cheered me up a little bit. I cannot keep track of who has done this tag and who hasn't. I feel like most people have done it by now, so I'm going to be really shit and not tag anyone specifically, but if anyone is watching this video and they want to do the tag, then please consider yourself tagged by me. Also, as always, if you don't have a booktube channel but you want to answer the questions, then please let me know your answers down below in the comments. I would love to read them. Thank you so much for watching this video, everyone. Again, I really do hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all staying safe and positive. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye.